Thank you all for joining me today to go over the plans for the 2020-2021 school year. My name is Michelle Knowlton, the principal of Robert J. Kaiser Middle School. I apologize for last night. There was some issues with technology and we weren't able to record the presentation and some of you weren't able to get on. So I'm going to take the time right now to go through my presentation and try to incorporate some of the questions that parents had from last night. And if there are any additional questions that you need answered, please email me at mknowlton12mcsd.net. Just a reminder that this year is 2020 and the census is due. The results of the census have a direct impact on federal school funding for a decade. Undercounted means underfunded. Please go to 2020census.gov and take time to fill out the census. It's very important to New York State and to school districts. Priorities. For the upcoming year, the health, safety, and well-being of students and staff is our priority, and the quality of teaching and learning. Staff and students will be required to use masks and face coverings at all times with the exception of eating lunch. We will give mask breaks and students may wear their own appropriate face covering. The district will supply a face mask when necessary. Staggered arrival and dismissal times will be included in this year's schedule. We will have multiple entry points to the building to allow for social distancing. The reduction in school movement, teachers will move between classrooms. Physical education and music lessons will be held outside when possible, or we will ensure that there is 12 feet between students. No sharing of supplies for the upcoming year. We have purchased general supplies for all students that will remain in the classrooms. We will stagger the use of bathrooms, and all parent-teacher meetings will be scheduled through Zoom to limit the number of visitors to the building. Throughout the day, we will promote frequent hand washing and or use of hand sanitizer. Thorough cleaning and disinfecting of the classrooms will be done nightly, and on Wednesday and each weekend, there will be a deep cleaning of the building to disinfect and sanitize it. Frequent cleaning and disinfecting of high-touch surfaces will occur throughout the day, like the stairs here at the middle school. They will be wiped down, the rails. Throughout the schedule, especially at the beginning of the year, each grade will have an orientation. We will go over training in how to wash your hands and respiratory hygiene. The district will provide adequate supplies and time for frequent hand hygiene throughout the day. Identifying students and staff with possible COVID-19 symptoms. We will follow the Department of Health protocols for identifying students and staff with possible COVID-19 symptoms. The student and staff member exhibiting symptoms will be separated from the group and the parent will be contacted. We will use contact tracing to determine potential exposure and if needed, go to full-time remote instruction for any class that has been exposed. Okay. Here at the middle school, we are fortunate that our classrooms and the number of classrooms we have a lot of. I have been able to designate 2 classrooms near the student entrance for isolation and quarantine of both staff and students. Transportation. All transportation procedures are consistent with both state-issued public transit guidance and New York State Ed reopening guidelines. Students will enter the bus wearing a face covering and keep 6 feet between other students. They will be assigned a seat, loading from the rear of the bus to the front, and when exiting the bus, students will exit from the front to the rear. All students will sit one to a seat unless they have family members from the same household, 2 to a seat. We will have a 2-tiered system. with transportation to allow to safely bring our students into the middle school. We will have an outer loop and an inner loop in the district. So we will pick up the outer parts of the district, and then they will be dropped off at the middle school. The bus will be sprayed down, and then the bus driver will go out and pick up the inner part of the school district, and then reverse that in the afternoon. So the example I can give you is one bus will go pick up students in Wurtsboro, bring them to the middle school, drop them off, and then the bus will be sprayed down, and then the bus will go back out and pick up kids in the village of Monticello and then bring them back to the school. Okay. Our homeroom is from 7:05 to 2:31, which will allow us to stagger the kids coming into the building without losing instruction. Buses will be used during the day to drop off meals to our students who select to go remote. Arrival and dismissal procedures. We're in the process of really refining our arrival and dismissal procedures. And since the middle school is connected with the high school, many of the procedures really need to be consistent between the two buildings. And we are still working on that consistency. Okay. The arrival and dismissal time will be staggered for our students. We will have 3 student entrances to maintain social distancing. Students' temperature will be taken prior to entering the building. Once in the building, students will be offered a grab-and-go breakfast, and then they will go directly to their homeroom or home base, where they will eat their breakfast, listen to the announcements before they start their first class. Dismissal, again, we are still working on the details for the dismissal, but the students who were dropped off from the inner loop of the district or the inner part of the district will be picked up. They would be brought home. The bus would return back to the middle school. The bus would be sprayed and cleaned, and then they would pick up the outer loop students and bring them home. We also will have walkers released between the inner loop and the outer loop, and we will release our parent pickup students at the end of the day. There will be 4 cohorts that we are going to offer to our families at the middle school. Cohort A is in-person instruction on Mondays and Tuesdays, and they will remote learn on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Cohort B, they will remote learn on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and in-person instruction on Thursday and Friday. Cohort C is by invitation only, okay? This will be in-person instruction on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and it will be offered to our students in kindergarten, E&L, special ed students in self-contained classrooms or in 12-1 and 15-1 classes, our McKinney-Vento students or homeless students, and students in households without internet access. This year, every student at the middle school will be given an iPad, which brings me up to remind parents there are 18 students who have not returned their iPads for the year, okay, from the spring. Please turn those iPads in. Every iPad that will be distributed to our students will have all the programs and apps on it that our students are going to need to utilize for instruction this year. The iPads that they received last year, they don't have those programs on it, so students will not be able to use them. And then finally, Cohort D are students who select to go fully remote for next year. Phased opening, the month of September. Okay, we will bring in the 6th grade only during the week of September 14th through the 18th. 7th grade will be added during the week of September 21st through the 25th, and 8th grade will start face-to-face instruction September 28th through October 2nd. All students who are invited for Cohort C will begin on September 14th. In addition to that, students who select Cohort D will also begin remote learning on September 14th. Many of you are going to say, well, what are my 7th and 8th grade students doing who are in Cohort A and B? They will start remote learning also on September 14th. Scheduling. The middle school came up with a very creative way to encourage our students to social distance and to require that, and also to make sure that our students are receiving quality instruction. Okay. After the students go to homeroom, the day has been divided into 17 20-minute blocks of time, or mods. This allows students to move throughout the building while maintaining social distancing protocols. So for students in cohort A, B, and C, they will receive 60 minutes of ELA, 60 minutes of math, 60 minutes of science, 60 minutes of social studies. They will receive their quartet. They will receive phys ed. But some courses are going to need to be held online, and I will go through that. They will also have a 30-minute block of time known as SEL, where teachers will be able to go over check and connect to make sure students know what assignments they need to complete while they are remote. They will be able to build relationships with their students and also offer some mini tech lessons to make sure our kids know how to use the iPad and also the programs that the teachers will require them to use. Some courses will need to be held remote this year. For 6th grade, Health 6 and intervention classes, Read 180 and or Math 180 will be offered. In grade 7, students will take Technology 7 and their intervention classes for Read 180 and Math 180. And grade 8 will have Spanish 8 and also offer Read 180 and Math 180. All students who are enrolled in band, orchestra, and chorus will receive small group lessons once per week, okay, either remotely or in person. There was a question last night about our intervention classes. What are they? If your student received extra help in reading or math last year, they will continue to receive those intervention classes again this year. Even for the students who were in 5th grade last year at Chase, Cook, or KLR, if they had extra help in math or reading, or they had the Read 180 program as their reading program, they will be scheduled for those intervention classes this year. Instruction, okay. Teachers will be using both the station rotation and flipped classroom model at the middle school. What does it look like? Station rotation, the teacher organizes students into groups and rotate through the centers. These groups can remain the same or can change based on student skill that they need to work on. The way that I can explain this to parents, when the kids were in the elementary school and they had learning centers and the students would work with the teacher, and then the other kids would be broken up into groups working on computer programs or working on application activities. The flipped classroom, teachers will produce a video of the information that they want the students to watch before coming to class or working on assignments online. In the classroom, teachers would help students with both guided practice and independent work. Mechanism for attendance. New York State is requiring us to take attendance. Students that are in school, we will continue to use School Tool to take period by period attendance. Students that are in cohort D and on remote learning days for cohort A, B, and C, student-teacher engagement will be collected using several sources. Daily Do Now or entrance ticket questions, or our learning management system Teams. There's a program that's built in that will keep track of students' engagement and completion of assignments to determine which assignments have been completed towards each scheduled class. Food service. All students will continue to have access to free breakfast and lunch at no cost. Breakfast, when students enter the building, students will be offered a grab-and-go breakfast. For lunch, to start the school year, lunch will be in their homeroom or home base. At the start of the day, students will pick what they would like for the day: hot selection, sandwich, or chef salad. Teacher aides will pick up the student lunch choice and bring it to the classroom for lunch. So no snacks will be sold during the first semester. After opening the building, we will revisit having students eat in the cafeteria or outdoor space or in the main lobby of the building. Behavior expectation. It is extremely important that everybody remains safe while being in the middle school. Students must allow for the completion of temperature, or the student will not be allowed to attend in-person instruction. In the event that students refuse to wear a face mask or covering or follow social distancing protocols, they will be sent to the assistant principal office and meet with an administrator. Parents will be notified and student will be counseled. Students who show a pattern of unsafe behavior will be reassigned to Cohort D. Please speak with your child before the start of the school year about the importance of wearing a mask properly and following social distancing protocols. Over the course of the orientation period for each grade level, we will be going over the proper way to wear a mask and what the expectations are here at the middle school for the year. Informed choices by family. Parent enrollment forms will be available today, okay? If you go to the district website, you can go on and select if you want Cohort AB or you want Cohort D. Again, Cohort C is by invitation only. All forms must be completed by August 15th. If you are unable to go on the district website, please call the school at 796-3058 and speak to one of the secretaries, and they can take the information over the phone, or they can send you a copy of the enrollment form. Okay. Next week also, please be aware that Chase, Cook, KLR, and the high school will be holding their parent information meeting. So if you have children in those buildings, please make sure you sign on and watch the information meeting. Again, parent commitment forms must be submitted by August 15th. Okay, more information forthcoming. There are still some areas that we really are working on that we will be putting out more information: before and after care programming, electives and special areas, and clubs and after school activities. Last night there were a couple of questions about how are we going to do sports and transportation for our students. The governor is still making decisions about sports for the fall, and our athletic director will be putting out more information. If you have any questions, please email me at mknowlton@k12mcsd.net. I will respond very quickly. If there's a question that I don't have the answer for yet that we are still working on, starting next week, any question that is asked, we will start posting the answers to those questions, so you can go to the website and find that. In addition to that, it is extremely important that we have the most updated address and phone number. Please make sure you contact the middle school at 796-3058 and speak to either Becky, Marianne, or Patty, the secretaries for the school, and give them updated addresses and phone numbers. Again, the number is 796-3058. Thank you for joining us for the parent information meeting. Please reach out to me if you have any additional questions or if you have any additional concerns. I had one parent last night ask me, she was an older adult. She said, would you send your child to school, being that she is in a high-risk group? And I said, I do have two adult children. I have a 21-year-old and I have a 26-year-old. And my 21-year-old is going back to college. Would I send my kids back? Absolutely. But it is a parent's decision. I can help you make that decision if you have additional questions or concerns. But be mindful that we are putting in a lot of work to make sure that your students and our students are safe here at the middle school, and our staff and faculty are safe. Again, please reach out if you have any questions. Have a great afternoon. Hope to see you in September.